It's a waste of both of our times, I'll be honest with you.
No,
Anyway, your time.
no, this is, it's obvious.
I love that he went, no politic here. He went, no politic here. No politic here. No politic here. No politic. Israel #1. No politic. Oh, here. This is fun. This is Kai Pritsker, as you guys know from Breakthrough News. Israel's oldest newspaper tried to run a hit piece against us. Luckily, we recorded the whole thing. Here, this Haaretz journalist asked gotcha questions to Kai Pritsker to try to frame the encampments film as anti-Semitic. Breakthrough, as you guys know, made the encampments movie. It's great.
The Israeli newspaper Haaretz tried to run a hit piece against us, decided they didn't like my answers mid-interview, and hung up on me. Luckily, I recorded the whole thing. Chuck Yoked, a New Jersey-based writer for Haaretz, emailed me last week asking if he could interview me about our film, The Encampments, which is about the student movement in solidarity with Gaza. I agreed, and we set up a Zoom call. But as soon as the interview started, his first question was, why didn't you include anything about the Jewish students at Columbia who were spit on and assaulted? And I said pretty plainly back, who are these students?
Never heard it mentioned enough. Not defending Israel, just FYI, Gaza was a place where gay people got death penalty. That's not even fucking true, dumbass. No. Like, first of all, Gaza is a place that is destroyed in its entirety. So, number one. And the entity responsible for the maximum amount of gay Palestinians that have been killed is Israel, number two. And last but not least, the only instances that you might be referencing, Israel uses Grindr and other like gay lifestyle applications to identify Palestinian victims and take sexually compromising footage of said gay Palestinian victims in an effort to force them to become collaborators for the Israeli state. When the militancy finds out about these sorts of things, they sometimes will execute these people. It is completely fucked up. I agree. It's completely fucked up. Having said that, what do you think America does to spies, especially during wartime? What are we talking about? There is a death penalty. There's capital punishment already in the United States of America, and there's certainly capital punishment for fucking treason, especially during wartime. What's the lore over Twitter trying to take down Joe Rogan? What did he say this time? He just had a convo with Jordan Peterson, which I was supposed to cover today.
And there was dead silence. And he tries asking this again, same thing. And at this point, I noticed he wasn't actually running a recording on the Zoom call, but was instead typing down what I was saying. So out of an abundance of caution, I started running a voice memo on my end. And this is where it starts.
I mean, what happened? I mean, tell me about. I mean, I'm curious. I don't know about. Who was spit on? Which Jewish students were spit on?
What happened? Did one of the pro-Palestinian students think it was occupied Jerusalem all of a sudden? Did they think that they were a Jewish settler in occupied Jerusalem standing against a Christian that is visiting the Holy Land? Is that what happened? The number one mechanism of self-defense for a Jewish settler in occupied Jerusalem is to spit on Christians.
Okay.
After I asked him more to tell me about this alleged anti-Semitic spitting incident, he tells me to read Columbia's report about it.
But for example, there was a report by Columbia University after that the way they handled
Columbia anti-Semitism,
and they admitted they failed in the way they handled that.
At this point, it should probably already be clear that this guy hasn't read the report himself, because if he had read the report, he would know that in the 91 pages, there are 2 quotes from students who claim they were spit on, and there's no actual evidence it happened. There are no photos, no videos, no verifiable testimony. Mind you,
well, don't let that get in the way of doing agitprop for Israel, okay? Oh, what does that remind you of? Yeah, you can have some of the most live streamed harrowing events of all time, and even then it's just like, even if it's not on camera, even if it didn't happen, Israel will still find a way to be like, no, it definitely happened. And if you actually question that, you're an anti-Semite.
During those 2 weeks, Columbia's campus was probably the most photographed and videographed square mile on the planet. The politicians and the media have been trying to portray the Columbia campus as this den of violence and anti-Semitism, but if this was the case, how is there not a single video of Jewish students being attacked? Furthermore, according to the citations in the report, these 2 quotes were taken from listening sessions facilitated by Hillel, a pro-Israel Jewish organization on campus. In our film, we interview a university whistleblower who suggests a lot of these incidents were concocted or inflated by pro-Israel students on campus. That's corroborated by the large number of Jewish students in our footage who participated in the encampment.
Yeah, but those are the bad kind of Jews. You know what I'm saying? Those are also the Hamasnik Jews themselves. Like Grant Minor, who was also prominently featured in this Breakthrough News production, but also it was subsequently fired from his job at the university, all in the name of defending Israel. I mean, sorry, I meant combating anti-Semitism. That's why we fired the Jewish guy. Thank God. You know, sometimes you got to fire some Jews, okay? Sometimes you got to put some Jews on a list for the greater good, for the rest of the Jews. You know, that's how it works, I guess.
So ironic about his obsession with the mythical spitting incident is that there are loads of videos of people who support Israel attacking the pro-Palestine students, telling them they should be raped, that they should
always projection, baby. This little dipshit is now a part of the IOF, by the way.
Should be killed, beating them bloody, and attempting to murder them, like they did at UCLA. As they say, every accusation is a confession.
You know what you're doing. I mean, you obviously, you know what tactic you're using. You're trying to equate anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. But I haven't, what actual anti-Semitism took place? Can you tell me?
Okay. The stories that you can find online.
Name one then. Name one story. Tell me, give me one story.
Okay. Okay.
Then he goes further into his own speculation, saying, you'd be naive to think that the students there believe that Israel has a right to exist alongside a Palestinian state.
And I think...
Oh, buddy. Oh, boy. Works-cited racism. Works-cited crack cocaine. It's just like, sorry, you're being anti-Semitic. Why? Oh, because you think that a Palestinian state has a right to exist? Oh, but if it did, that would mean genociding all the Jews there. Why do you say that? I don't know. I just fantasized about Arabs being barbaric, rapist, bloodthirsty monsters. So now you're going to have to deal with that, actually, because that's the norm. That's how I feel. That's how a lot of Americans feel. So you have to deal with that every day of the week.
You're being naive if you pretend that if you ask most of the protesters there, you think Israel should exist alongside Palestinian state, most of them would say no, Israel has no right to exist. To pretend otherwise is to,
Okay. Let's say a lot of the student protesters there want a single state. What's the problem?
So there's one thing to say, end the war and have two-state solution, rather from the river to the sea.
This rhetoric about Israel's right to exist is a cover for saying that an apartheid system has a right to exist, to keep excluding the occupied Palestinian people from returning to their native land. This is why we all understand that apartheid South Africa, or monarchical France, didn't have the right to exist because their forms of government were rejected as oppressive. The most ironic...
I will have you know, Vichy France has a right to exist. Otherwise, you are terrorist. Nazi Germany has a right to exist. Otherwise, you are terrorist. Why do you hate Germany?
Part of this argument is that people who support Israel always say that Palestinians want to wipe Israel off the face of the earth, when it's Israel that's actually wiping Gaza off the face of the earth. It's the Palestinian state that's been denied, and it's the Palestinians who are fighting for their right to exist. Again, every accusation is a confession. Next, he asked me about the claim that Colombia is invested in weapons manufacturers and asked me if I believe this to be the case, as if it's a matter of opinion.
The claim that the university is invested in weapon manufactured, right? Is that something that you personally believe is the case? Is something that you investigate, or just you just bring it from the
He's like, how did you find out?
students? So you believe there was merit to that?
No, I mean, it's not an opinion. Colombia is invested in companies directly and indirectly through their holdings in index funds. They have stocks in companies that are complicit in war crimes. That's a fact.
This isn't an opinion, and it's something the students have documented quite thoroughly over the course of several years they've been fighting this campaign to get Colombia to divest from companies complicit in genocide. He tries to trip me up on the details of how these companies are complicit, but he clearly doesn't know that I helped write the divestment resolution at my school when I was in college.
I believe they're also...
I fucking love this dude, by the way. My mom does too.
Invested in Caterpillar, which builds...
Some chatters asked, his last name is Pritsker, is he Jewish? Which is ironic because my mom also asked. I don't know, but he's dope. I suspect he is. He's a fucking Chad.
It's the D9 bulldozers. In Caterpillar. And General Electric.
How are they involved? What document the war?
General Electric? General Electric makes the engine for the AH-64 Apache helicopter, which is the attack helicopter that Israel used. AH-64 Apache helicopter, yes.
The interview goes on pretty normally for the next few minutes until he asks me why I think Colombia decided to arrest their students on April 18th, which sparked the global encampment movement. I told him Colombia arrested their students because they're beholden to their donors who support Israel. His follow-up question is crazy.
I mean, that's Colombia's agenda, is to... They are beholden to their donors.
Oh my God. This is the article that he wrote. An extremely vile racist article in the liberal Zionist Haaretz outlet claims for blacks in New York, Jewish money is the source of their problems and justification for actions against Jews. The article begins by admitting it relies on absolutely zero data about the events in Monsey and Jersey City, just anecdotal evidence, nevertheless is full of anti-black racist tropes. The author, Zach Yoked, this guy that is talking to Breakthrough News right now, claims that an animosity towards Jews by black people has replaced the solidarity during the civil rights era. He goes on to claim that black people blame Jews for all their social and economical problems. No actual data is presented. He continues claiming that an entire community of young black people from Jersey City to Brooklyn to Harlem to Queens are sitting on a poisonous explosive, i.e. are all anti-Semites, and there is no need for any data from current data from the ADL to understand its dangers. The author then goes on to provide several anecdotes from a measly 1.5 stroll he took on Harlem's 125th Street, after which he felt justified in making a sweeping generalization about the so-called rampant anti-Semitism in the black community and demeaning local inhabitants. Yeah, maybe they were staring at your fucking bald head, big guy. I could go on. The author's ignorant racism does not acknowledge the fact that Harlem is an extremely diverse part of New York, including people from tens of countries of all colors, languages, and religions. Yeah. They thought Dr. Yacob had come back, but this time as a white guy. Yeah, you see, you don't understand. They thought Dr. Yacob had finally controlled tricknology to make himself white after inventing white people, and they were angry and resentful.
So when their donors say something like, "We don't want pro-Palestine protests on our campus,"
dog, is this why some black accounts are going online saying Palestinians are racist? Black accounts, yeah, that's why some black accounts online signing off from Langley, Virginia, are posting about how Palestinians are so racist.
They listen.
What about the money from the donors for Israel? But there were many reports about money coming from the Gulf countries, from Saudi Arabia.
This is one of my favorite fucking TikTok accounts, by the way. A group of black Americans went to Palestine to facilitate food distribution and get them medical supplies, right? The entire time they were there getting called racial slurs, so they decided to speak out. 35,000 likes. The organizer of the trip is not mad at them for speaking out about their experiences. She feels a real ally wouldn't have gotten mad about being called racial slurs, and she accused the blacks of turning this into oppression Olympics. The blacks. No, we are not confusing them for Ukraine. She said Palestine 100 times in the video. We have the right country. Wish everyone the best. Yeah, I'm not even touching that with a fucking 10-foot pole, okay? Suck me. Wealth Turtle is back. This time with a new post.
Dubai, Abu Dhabi, all this, Qatar. How does that play a role in the way the university is reacting?
The thing about this comment that's so revealing is that the Gulf countries, specifically the two countries he mentions, the UAE and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, have normalized relations with Israel. They've basically abandoned the Palestinian people in their time of greatest need. If anything, Gulf money going into Middle East studies departments and Islamic centers at American universities is undermining the Palestinian cause and defanging these departments. So he's actually making my point about pro-Israel money, but I don't even think he realized that.
Is it coming from private individuals? Is it coming from the state? Is it coming to Columbia University? Is it going to, are you saying it's going to the students? Because that's something that has been, people are saying, oh, the students were funded by like outside groups, all this. Is that what you're saying? I'm not sure what you're saying.
I'm saying about Google later, about reports about Arab countries donating $8 billion to Ivy League universities.
Okay.
That's it. You can check later if you want.
Okay. The Gulf countries also support Israel, so.
Yeah.
I mean, well, hold on. I mean, you're talking about the Gulf countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE. I mean, they're trying to normalize with Israel, so I'm not really sure that.
How do you feel about the decision to deport Mahmoud Khalil?
The last question he asked was how I feel about the abduction of Mahmoud. Here was my answer, which made him completely lose it.
This is the logical extreme of the Israel lobby and Zionism in America. They know they've lost the argument. They know they've completely lost the younger generation, which is exactly what the encampment movement showed. So they're now trying to they're just trying to make it illegal to support Palestine. They're trying to ban free speech because they know they've lost the argument. There was a poll that came out, a week or two ago that said that now the majority of Americans, both Republican and Democrat, have negative views of Israel. I mean, Israel's...
Listen, okay.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think my editors will publish it. I can talk to them and maybe email you back if I see that they are... I don't think they're going to publish this manifest. I just don't want to waste your time and my time. I don't feel comfortable sharing an opinion of someone who says that no Jewish students was attacked, part of the students.
You're putting words in my mouth. I asked you to tell me about the incidents you're referring to.
I'm not aware of any. If you were there for months and months and you're not aware of any students who was attacked, then there's no point of this interview.
Sorry. I never said no.
None of them was attacked. Listen, talk to my editor. I don't want to waste my time.
Tell me who it was.
Check later. Check later the reports, and I'll talk to you later.
You're the one.
Right now, I feel like it's a waste of both of our times. I'll be honest with you.
No. This is it. It's obvious.
I love that he went no politic here. He went no politic here. No politic here. No politic here. No politic. Israel #1. No politic. That's amazing. Yeah, this is a real account. For sure. Do you stand for the Kurdish people the way you stand for the Palestinians? Yes. As a matter of fact, I do. It pushes inflation up when people are saving their money because their price is falling. Isn't really a good thing in and of itself either. Bro, I actually lost so much of my stocks at this point. I just want to see how bad it will get to. Thank you, Hasan. Kurdish stonk lurker, new guy. Who isn't a stock lurker at this point? The shots of IDF soldiers falling downstairs and tripping backwards are illustrative of Israel's whole military strategy. Terrified of actual combat, they can stay inside tanks while airstrikes destroy everything. Urban combat can be avoided if the urban area is no longer in existence.
It's a waste of your
These stairs are Hamas.
time because you're not getting the answers you want. That's pathetic. I mean, if you want to spin a certain narrative, he just closed the interview. That's amazing.
This presents itself as the liberal, open-minded newspaper in Israeli society, and this guy made a point of saying that several times on our call. And yet here they are, hanging up on their own interview because they didn't like my answers, going as far as to subtly encourage me.
Breakthrough is PSL, right? he has the same style and vibes of like a wiry, straight up ML PSL guy. He reminds me of fucking what's his face, Abby Martin's husband, Mike Pritsker, or not Pritsker, Mike Prisner.
To change my answers to get this interview published. But the whole point—
Are you doing Marxist org phrenology? No, there is a lot of, this is the PSL phenotype, dude. I'm telling you. This guy 100% thinks I'm nowhere near as radical as I should be.
Point of our work at Breakthrough and this film is to stop catering to what the mainstream media considers
The white guys in PSL do look like that. Oh, 100%.
respectable. So yeah, not gonna happen. Israel's PR strategy has always been to make itself out to be the victim, which is exactly what you're seeing on this call. This journalist took an interview about a film about a genocide and the destruction of all of Gaza's universities and somehow still makes himself—
That's not what people think. You were welcomed by the organizer for the rally. No, I'm kidding. I'm memeing.
out to be the victim. The idea that it's the students camping out on lawns who are violent and hateful, and not the nuclear-armed superpower stomping off against a largely defenseless population, is just the latest insane narrative that Israel's trying to spin in its fraudulent victimhood narrative. It should come as no surprise that the people who've been defending Israel's barbarity for the—
What is PSL? What's PSL? All Google using is Pakistan Super League? What the fuck? Party for Socialism and Liberation, chatters. Jesus Christ.
last 18 months are now facing isolation, alienation, and social consequences. But no.
That's crazy. Pakistan Super League.
No.
That's what it is. Anyway, this guy's I love this dude. Yeah. Haaretz does do shit like that all the time. I mean, they will have like very good liberal Zionist articles and articles that are even anti-Zionist, but then sometimes they, you know, as I've said before, for every good article that Haaretz writes, there's like 3 articles that they have to write like this, where it's like, here is why the encampment is Hamas. Matt Lieb on Coachella and anti-Semitism at Coachella
has a Hamas problem. The videos coming out of the Coachella Music and Arts Festival has been absolutely horrific. A band of drunken Irish hooligans projected this statement: Israel is committing a genocide against the Palestinian people.
What's your critique of PSL? Genuinely curious? No critique.
Israel, free Palestine. Can you imagine? Got a bunch of kids to chant free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine! Which of course they happily did, because these kids don't watch the news. They watch is TikTok, which has a lot of primary sources of Gazan people being bombed by Israel. Also, one of the Irish rappers said Tiach Fied H Arla, which is Irish for Green Day, changed the lyrics to one of their songs to say this: running away from pain like the kids from Palestine. And it didn't stop there. No, in fact, I have been given a bunch of leaked footage from Coachella in which they do this to other songs.
Do you have the time to free Palestine? We all support Hamas. Wake me up when Israel ends.
Oh my God.
Stop at Green Day.
That would be so sick.
Even Lady Gaga herself did this.
Love Yas and war, see to the river, Gaza to Ramallah, want to be Hamas.
This is so stupid. Oh, geez.
Artist after artist let it be known exactly where they stand when it comes to Israel. Even Post Malone.
There will be no more Israel. My famous pop star Post Malone. Zionism needs to go.
Missy Elliott did the same thing. She put her thing down, flipped it, and reversed it. And it turns out that in reverse, it was a subliminal message straight from the Ayatollah of Iran.
Work it. I put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it.
We must bring down the Zionist entity. We must bring down the Zionist entity.
If you got a big, let me.
What happened to music being non-political? You know, there was a time when music was just about holding hands, figuring out who keeps letting dogs out, about like Vietnam. I, for one, am ashamed that I ever went to Coachella. Got my first hand job.
Oh, that's amazing.
Looks like Coachella.
One of the funniest things is like when Matt Leaf started doing this at first, people didn't know who he was, so they thought he was being serious. Like, even in my community, people didn't know who Matt was at first. So they were like, dude, did you see this? Dude, did you see this? Do you see this guy? Can you believe it? Oh my God. Wait, really? Even Daniel Mate thought he was serious before he met Matt? That's hilarious.